How are you both doing? How's Tampa treating you so far?
It's great.
Yeah, it's home for me, so I just came over the causeway. I know, right? Yeah, this is nice.
Very good. Well, I'm going to kick things off with a few questions, and then I see we already have some fans lined up to talk with you as well.
Good.
I'm a huge fan of The Good Witch. I've been watching it since that first movie in 2008. And I love so much that it kind of redefined the Hallmark Channel in a lot of ways. It kind of broke free from just being like the Christmas channel. And I'm wondering for both of you, what was it like being part of a show for so long? And for you, I mean, it was like 13 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible experience. We did one movie. We thought it was just going to be one movie, a little thing called The Good Witch, and people liked it and responded. And we did another one, another one, another one. I think we did 7, one a year. And then when I think I was on Army Wives at the time, and that ended, and they said, "You want to turn it into a series?" And we had to bring this guy on, and we went for another 7 years, which was amazing.
I was late to the party. Yeah, it was fun because I was familiar with the movies and of course knew Catherine's career. And then when they decided to make it a series and just called me out of the blue, I was really surprised. And yeah, I said yes pretty fast. So yeah, a good 7 years.
Catherine, for you, you also executive produced on this series, and I'm curious, like, what kind of producer are you? Or how hands-on?
Mean, very mean, tough.
Evil.
Get that guy out of his trailer.
Oh, she's the worst.
No, it's funny because it's more just like you have creative input at that point, so you have some say in it. Like we had to recast the husband, Chris Potter, who was lovely but not available. He was on another show at the time, and it worked out great because we got to bring James on, and we had, make out with him, which is just like, oh.
Except during COVID.
Oh yeah.
They wouldn't let us kiss.
That sucked. That really sucked.
Worst year ever. Well, they did. We got to kiss twice in the whole season.
Closed mouth.
And you had to do an instant, what do they call those? Rapid test.
Rapid test.
Rapid test, right before the scene. So it's so romantic. Because we're like about to kiss, and I would stop, we'd go over and stick the thing up our nose. And then wait,
Gargle with
literally wait
Listerine.
the 15 minutes for the result, and then action.
No, and gargle with Listerine and all this other stuff.
Crazy. We were very lucky we got to shoot right through it. And a lot of people, of course, lost their jobs or couldn't work at all, and we were very fortunate.
Nice. And I know when the series ended, it kind of felt final, but I am curious to know, is it final forever, or maybe somewhere down the line, maybe something, another movie, a little follow-up? And if there was, what storylines would you like to see kind of continue on?
Burning question. Now there's been so much talk about bringing it back.
Mostly from us.
Yeah, mostly from us, but no, we've actually, a little bit, yeah, we've been trying. A little bit from the network, once or twice, a couple of the producers, but there are a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, and there's new people, there's new executives, and a lot of times they want to put their stamp on a network, and there's been a lot of changes at that network, and so they.
And the big stumbling block was, I think there are a lot of production companies because of the movies. So there's Whiz Bang, there's Hallmark, there's ITV. There are a lot of people that had to sign off, and so we couldn't get all the moving parts together because the cast basically said we would show up and do it for free. Because we still text each other, we're all the nicest people I've ever worked with. So everybody's willing to do it, it's just a matter of the logistics.
And we might still, there could still be a movie. I don't think it would come back as a series, but a movie,
No,
a holiday
for
movie.
sure.
Yeah.
And there was talk about, because at the end we're going to travel the world.
Right.
And there was talk about, actually, I heard a plot line about Sam and Cassie, and maybe only a couple of the other people from Middleton out, doing something.
But we're gonna film it in, oh, that was loud. We're gonna film it in Winnipeg, as we always joke.
Of course, yeah. The entire world looks like Winnipeg.
You did both get to do a Hallmark movie together here recently as well. It came out in 2024, I believe, and
Yeah, we did two.
Yeah, that's right too.
Cherry Lane.
Yeah. And it was fun to play different characters.
And we still got to make out.
I know.
We make it out.
Well, Hallmark make out. It's like pretty tame. But yeah, it was fun to play different characters because my character in the movies, if anybody saw the Cherry Lane movies, is so goofy, which is fun because Sam Radford couldn't be less goofy. So you were very sort of similar in that you were kind of the rock of the movies as well. There's a pattern there. You're always sort of a grounded, good actor, and then there's the rest of us.
I love that. Are you both ready for some fan questions? Yes. Microphone's right here. And our first one, what is your name?
Hey, we know you.
You know me, Hiva. I got roped into asking you guys a question. So I'm gonna actually follow up with the Good Witch thing. If you were to do a movie or like a spin-off, what storyline would you guys like to see for it?
I wouldn't. Yeah, I think we're open to suggestions. Yeah.
Yeah, because the show was so much this sort of a day in the life of Middleton that, you know, the idea of us going on this around the world thing was kind of interesting, but it's not really what the show is. You know, there's really, in my opinion, it's hard to have a movie or a show without Martha or without Abigail, or, you know, there's so many great characters, and Middleton is so much the show. So that's what I wasn't crazy about. Any idea that took us out of Middleton, I think, might be tougher. So, because it's such an ensemble, right? I mean, it's about the town.
Yeah, and the family.
If you were to, oh sorry, last question. If you had, like, if there was a way to do it, how would, like, I know there's all the different production companies, but is there a way to do like a spin-off, or would you still have to get rights for that as well?
You would have to, yeah.
They own it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, because yeah, we just do it ourselves.
With an iPhone.
You know,
my ring light.
Yeah. You know, everybody has to sign off, and you can imagine. I mean, that's what's so tough about it. Yeah. So we haven't given up yet, because there's still conversations about a movie. But yeah, thanks for wanting one.
Yeah, those are great questions. Next up.
Hey, sorry.
Hey.
Okay, thanks. So I love the show. Thank you so much for making it and being part of it. I'm curious, it's called The Good Witch, but you guys never really touch on the witchy aspect, like name it.
We do here and there. You know, it's funny. I think the first movie was more witchy, where it was more like, you know.
Season 7.
Oh, yeah. then we became the
Very
Avengers.
witchy in season 7.
I don't know what happened.
You're right. There wasn't much witchiness. It wasn't like bewitched.
No, it definitely wasn't. It was implied in the beginning, and then I think Hallmark, maybe again another change of the people that were running the network, maybe worried about that being too witchy, and then they pulled that back. But then I just became someone who gave people chamomile tea and a nice candle to use in a bath. It's like, wait a minute, what are we doing? I think the writers and maybe the network was a bit confused here and there, but yeah, it would have been nice to be a little more witchy.
I thought it was cool because I have some family in Georgia who are a little bit scared of witches or something, so I felt like it was nice because it invited lots of different people in to watch it, I guess, you know, the intuitive witch kind of.
Yeah, and I kind of liked, and I heard other people say that it was not on the nose. Like it's Good Witch, and then you watch the show, and it's not what you expect. So there's something to that too. But there were a lot of storylines where you were almost clairvoyant, where you just sort of had a sixth sense.
Intuition.
You had intuition, yeah.
Okay, and last question, would you say that your cousin in the show, she was like maybe a chaos magic witch?
A what?
Like a chaos magic witch?
Oh, wait, a what?
Chaos. She kind of got
Oh, yes.
In the movie,
We called her the Bad Witch.
She had voodoo dolls. It was
Yeah.
The movie was dark.
Yes.
Compared to the series.
That's what I'm saying. We had some movies or part seasons where it was more witchy and some where it was less. But yeah, she had voodoo dolls and casting spells. And, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Next up.
Hi, I love the show, but my question is for James. My first introduction was seeing you was on The Pretender,
Yes.
which I love that show, and I just was just wondering why you changed your name from Jamie to James.
Great question. James is my given name, and my dad was Jim, so I became Jamie. And I was Jamie on Face Off and a few movies and The Pretender, and John Woo fan. And then I got cast in a series called Threat Matrix, which was given the fantastic time slot on Thursday night against the final season of Friends and the first season of Survivor. So we lasted 1 year and we were done. And I was kind of the main guy on that show. And they thought Jamie was a little lightweight. I was like an FBI agent, and one of the producers said, "Do you mind using James?" I was like, "If you'll hire me, I'll use James." So, and then you can't really go
Call
back.
me Mary.
Desperate Housewives, of course, preferred James, and it stuck. And it's my real name, but it seems kind of formal. Yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you.
That was a fun question. Next up.
I didn't even know that.
Hi, my name is Raquel. I love The Good Witch. It was a wholesome, beautiful, it was a great series and movie. But my question is actually for you, Miss Bell. I've been admiring your work since JAG, when you played a Marine colonel, because I am also a Marine.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, and
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. But the way you portrayed how a female Marine should be with the decorum and how you exemplified it, I want to thank you for that, because that's how I was when I was in the Corps. But also, while I was in the Corps, I was watching Army Wives, and I'm like, really? Marine and then Army? I forgive you for that.
Okay.
But my question for you is, when you played both a JAG Marine and then you played an Army wife, which role did you like better and why? No pressure.
Oh yeah, no. The way you said Army wife.
Well, my Army, so we're like always, you know.
There's so much rivalry.
Yeah,
I know.
a lot.
I know, of course.
Pro tip, say Marine.
Of course. Honestly, Marines, I have such a soft spot in my heart for Marines. I mean, I played one for 9 years. And it was so much fun because on JAG, between the Navy and Marine rivalry that Harvey Mack had, Don Belisario, who created the show, who's actually turning 90 next weekend, he was a Marine. So you could tell watching that show that he would favor the Marines a little bit more. So I for sure have. I know. There is definitely a decorum and just that honor and integrity that is quite special. So yeah, thank you for this.
Thank you so much.
Really kind.
That's a great question. Next up.
Hi, Barbie. My name's Gretchen, and my question is, I'm assuming that you did a lot of filming in Canada. So did you come to really like the area that you filmed in, and have you since gone back and vacationed there a lot or made friends in that area and just kind of made it a second home kind of thing? That's what I'd like to know.
Either of us or Catherine?
Both of you.
Yeah, I've only been back a couple of times, but friends, the cast, we've all stayed friends. I'm very much in touch with all those guys. They're mostly in Toronto. We shot in Toronto almost exclusively, except our locations right in Hamilton, if anybody knows the area, in Dundas. And I did kind of fall in love with it, and I miss it a lot, but I'm in LA, so there's not much reason to go there. But we were there for 7+ years, so yeah, you get attached.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And I did the 7 movies before, so I was always in Toronto. And it's funny because I lived in LA at the time, so I was always flying all the way across, to go to Toronto, back and forth a lot. But it's just so beautiful. And the Lake District and Dundas, where we filmed, was like the Victorian town. So charming, really, really lovely. I have a lot of friends there still.
And are there any Canadians here? Probably not. I love it. They were so nice and so pleasant and so welcoming, and it's a fun place to work.
Yeah,
well, just a follow-up question. You said you don't have the rights to it, but what about Bad Witch on Hulu?
There you go.
Thank you so
much.
I
like it a lot.
The show.
It's a very fun question. Next up.
Hey, what's up, James?
Hey, how you doing?
So how was it work with the ladies of the show, with the Desperate Housewife?
Desperate Housewives?
Yeah.
What's the question?
Yeah. So how was it work with all that ladies?
Estrogen?
Yeah.
Drama?
The whole shebang.
It's funny. I would not to spend too much time on that, but I appreciate the question. Obviously, Housewives was a life changer for me and my kids. But I kept getting asked questions by reporters in the beginning. So what's it like with all these women on set, all this, the cat fights? This is before it started. When the first got cast, and it's gonna be weird, all those women. I was like, this is misogynist. I mean, what? So it's a show with a female cast. I mean, what do you think it's just gonna be like? Constant cat fights? But it was. And I was like, oh, well, okay. I guess they knew. They were all wonderful people and, individually fantastic. But I felt like it was a little unfair to talk about it being very different being a female cast, but it tells you how unique it was back then because there weren't very many female-driven shows. But I found them all to be very lovely. Still really good friends with Eva and Terry. I've lost touch with the others, but they're all very busy. But It was fun. We just didn't want to get killed. The men were just every year, we're like, okay, we made it one more year without getting killed. All 4 of the guys. So at the end, I finally got it in the end. But yeah, it was a great blessing.
I actually have a follow-up question about Desperate Housewives because that was my first introduction to you, and I have a lot of friends who are watching it for the first time and rewatching it also, and a lot of us have talked about how it really pushed the boundaries at that time, and I don't necessarily know if that show can be made the same way today as it was then. And I'm curious, was there an awareness at all that it really was like a boundary-pushing show?
Yes, it was, and there was some cringingly uncomfortable for the actors. But the show knew what they were doing, and it wasn't out of an apathy or a coldness or lack of concern. For example, when Alfred Woodard's on the show and she had her son chained up in the basement, I read the script and I thought, that's what we're going to do? And then there was a scene where Eva Longoria was unhappy with her daughter because she thought he was overweight. So she made her run behind the car to school and wouldn't let her get in the door. And those kinds of things kind of make you, yeah, I don't know if you would even, it's groundbreaking, but at the same time, it could be very offensive. Even though, the Alfred Woodard thing was very separate and with her and gave some gravitas. But yes, there were times where as an actor, you just kind of cringe and go, well, all right, we'll see how this goes. But I don't think they would do much of that today.
I know they're still trying to make a spin-off for Wisteria.
Oh, it's still running.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah.
in fact, my daughter commented about this scene with Eva's character making her daughter run behind the car. She was like, I can't believe they got away with that. So yeah, it was certainly edgy.
Definitely. I see we have another fan question right here.
Hi. My name is Adriana. I was just wondering if there was a moment for both of you just in life that you could bottle up, like one moment. It doesn't have to be all your favorite moments, but a moment that you could just bottle up and keep. What would it be?
A bunch of things came to my mind right away, and it's not just one, but a lot of moments with my kids, like when they first learned to talk, and like the really cute special moments of, having hot chocolate with them, and I don't know, just like making whatever art and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's funny, I wondered if you meant professionally or personally, but it tells you a lot that both of us immediately went to personally. Because mine was instantly, which of my kids' births? Probably my daughter's birth, I have 2 kids. But that feeling is nothing like it, obviously. Professionally, it's like, just everything pales once you have kids, which is so great because I said when I finally had children, it takes the focus off of you. And in our career, you're worried about your photos and your image and getting the next job. It's all me, and then you have your wife has a baby, and it's like everything changes, and it makes you a much more interesting, thoughtful person, right? So thankfully,
I did mean personally.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's easily the birth of both of my kids, which sounds corny, but anybody that's had children and remembers that experience is so mind-blowing. And my son took 3 days almost to be born. We tried to have him at home, and it just didn't work out, and had to go to the hospital, and that one was very memorable.
I just want to say thank you for making Good Witch and having it available during COVID. A lot of us were stuck at home, obviously. You weren't, thankfully, because we were watching you. It was nice to have the upbeat show, and was able to show it with my mom, which was really nice during COVID. And I was just wondering if there's anything new on the horizon that you want to share, that you or can share, that's coming up that you're working on?
I've been telling some of you at my table, I'm just developing a show, which is a slow process, and we're pitching it, trying to sell it, but it's something I'm very excited about. It's about volunteer firefighters in small town America. And a lot of people don't know this, but it's about 70% of America's firefighters are volunteers. So they're teachers, they're, mailmen, whatever they do, and when they get that call, they drop everything and go, whether it's a fire or a car accident or whatever other EMT kind of thing. But so I'm working on that, but it's hopefully in the next, 6-8 months, we'll have something to announce on that. Yeah.
And I don't. I'm kind of slowing down, chasing a couple of theater things, which is always was my first love, which is how I ended up being an actor. So I'm trying to pursue some of that now. But yeah, that's about all I've got going on, which is I'm okay with at my age.
I'm going to follow up on that note because I love when actors talk about theater, and a question that I love asking is, obviously when you're at these cons, you're usually signing autographs for maybe 1 or 2 new projects that everybody's coming to see. But what project that have you worked on? Either maybe it's Good Witch, maybe it's a theater show, maybe it's something you did when you were in community theater as a kid that had a profound impact on you that still kind of lingers inside of you.
I did a movie called Grace Unplugged that was in theaters for a while. It was actually not on TV, and it was a father-daughter story about the girl was AJ Michalka, Allie and AJ was the lead, and it was a Christian movie. And she was like sings in the church or in the gospel choir or whatever, the worship choir, and she runs away to try to be Miley Cyrus and falls into a lot of the traps of dangerous Hollywood. And as a dad, I chase her out there, and I was a former rock star in the movie, and I try to get her back. And it's a really touching father-daughter thing, and it kind of stuck with me because my daughter's also a musician, and so yeah, that one's really fun if you're all interested in that storyline. It's called Grace Unplugged, but it's a sweet, sweet movie. Yeah. And I cried like a baby. And I used to not, when I first early started acting, I couldn't make myself cry. And you're taught to never fake it. If you're not crying, don't cry. Don't pretend to cry and do something else. And I never could, so I just always avoided those scenes. As soon as I had kids, I cannot cry. I cry in scenes I'm not supposed to cry in. And so it's really kind of frustrating. So that movie was the first time where I got to just let it go. And there's one scene where I'm just like gushing, and the director's like, it's a little much. Like, it's just like my daughter.
And the older we get, the more we cry. My daughter's like, Mom, you cry at everything now. I never used to. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I have so many, I don't know, everything for me was like at a different stage of my life and just so new and exciting and different. So I don't know that I have one particular one, yeah.
Very nice. I see we have one more fan question here.
Hi. So my wife and I were able to visit Hamilton area earlier this year, actually, before Niagara Falls Comic Con, and absolutely beautiful area. Yes. Loved Hamilton. And so Kiana Teresa posted a video about the mouth washing during COVID recently, which segues to this question. Good Witch was a groundbreaking series that featured Hallmark's first same-sex kiss with Joy and Zoe, Kat Burrell and Kiana Teresa. How do you think that made an impact on Hallmark and the network moving forward with LGBTQ representation?
That's a great question. That's a tough one too. Because everybody has very different heightened emotional reactions to that stuff. I say that stuff meaning anything progressive or anything new or groundbreaking. So that's a great question, but it's almost impossible for us to answer because as cast members, we saw it and thought, well, you know what? That's great to represent more people, in fairness, if it's a good portrayal. But a lot of the audience members, they did not want to watch that or couldn't relate to it or whatever you want to say. So it was an interesting transition for the network, and obviously they've gone very far in a more, whatever you would call progressive, such to become a bad word now, but a more open casting situation, many more minorities. We had no minorities on Good Witch. We fought and tried. And John asked me, as our local producer, would bring in more minority actors as background and extras. So it was a constant battle sort of there for a while. So it's hard to answer. Other than we were happy to see as many people as possible represented, positively.
And at the same time, it was new for the network, so it was like a touchy area for them because you want to just respect people who have been watching a show and a network that's been conservative for so long. And they were very late to the game, and it was definitely time, but it was just a delicate, transition for the network, but glad that they finally made some changes there.
Yeah, that's a great question.
It's a great question. It's obviously kind of a sticky one. Yeah, because it's
I did want to follow back onto Jag. I love Jag. I watched it when it first came out. You were on that for 205 episodes, and I'm curious how that experience has now kind of influenced some of the career choices you make, and now talking about this project you're working on, maybe some of the things that you learned from that experience that you're now kind of bringing into new projects.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Whenever I talk about Jag, and my daughter's pursuing acting now, she's 22 and new in the business, and I'm like, when I tell her what it was like back then, I feel like such an ancient, TV there was like 3 networks, and there was maybe HBO and Cinemax, but not much, and we did 23, 24 episodes every year, and it took 8 days to film it, so we were working 10 months a year, we had 2 months off. Yeah, 18-hour days, 20-hour days, 16-hour days, It was, people would come home that night of the week. We changed nights. It was Thursday at one point and Sunday at one point, but you would watch it with your family, you would actually have dinner and then watch this show. And you
There was
forward
no
to
way-
that every week.
There was no way to record it.
Right.
I mean, in the beginning, there were VCRs.
There was no- I know.
But yeah, there was no
TiVo
Yeah,
came
you're-
out
you're
in the
younger
middle
than I
of
am.
no, TiVo came out while we were doing JAG, and I remember us going, "What's this thing called TiVo? How's that going to affect us?" And it affected us big time, you know. But again, it was just it was such an incredible show to be a part of, and it was successful internationally. I remember going to Italy for a motorcycle race. And those of you that know me know that I like my motorcycles, and I went to Milan, and my husband Adam at the time, we walked out in the stadium and went up to find our seats, and as I came around the stadium, everyone was cheering. Like, all of a sudden everybody stood up and they were cheering, and I was like, what, is that Valentino Rossi, the racer? Like, what are we, and I turned around again, they were cheering for me. I was like, wait, what? Like, huge in Italy. And again, it was because they watched it at 7 p.m. every Sunday with their family, and it's just something that our kids they don't know that. They're watching it on their phone by themselves in their room, you know? So that was just an incredible experience to be a part of, and TV is definitely getting away from that, which I think is a shame. I think people miss maybe that weekly aspect, that sort of in your living room.
Yeah, the appointment television, that was fun.
But it was a show about values and integrity and honor and the good guys winning and, you know, and people doing good in the world, and that was really cool to be a part of.
And it's neat too because NCIS continues on and they have all of their spin-offs, which I think a lot of people may not recognize necessarily that JAG is the original that, you know, NCIS spun off of, and you've come back to that universe. And I saw last week at SDCC, David James Elliott was saying that, like, he's not against coming back to that kind of JAG universe. Is there an interest for you too to come back to that character if, you know, it happens?
Yeah, I would love it. I mean, I love going back to NCIS and putting on the uniform. Thank you. But I think, as David said in that interview, I read the interview, and he said usually they bring a new cast in. So it's a great idea, but it's probably not going to be me and David. Unfortunately, we could come in maybe.
We don't want that. We want the originals.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you both so much, and thank you all for coming out this evening. This is great. And are you guys going back to your table? Your photo ops? Yeah, excellent. So if you have any questions, yeah,
thank you.
If you had questions and you were too shy to ask them, you can join them at the table here in a little bit. Excellent. Well, thank you both. Thank you all.
Please, everybody, give a huge round of applause, everybody, for Catherine Bell James Denton. Now, the party doesn't end here. We're going to put a QR code right there on the screen. You'll be able to click on the QR code. You'll be able to go to the table, get an autograph. You'll be able to get a photograph with them, so you have a chance to be able to talk with them. So be sure to do that. Look at the QR code there and schedule your chance to get an autograph or photograph.